one of Europe's leading challengers. He's the European bantamweight champion, Tuncat.
And a really spectacular fighter as well. He's got a lot of aerial techniques, great lateral movement, and don't be surprised to see lots of doubles and triple kicks in this competition. A double and triple being 2 or 3 kicks with your leg still in the air, and he's very capable. Rohullah Nikpai, also a very tough, arduous journey to get here, and a very capable athlete as well.
Yes, the sport back in Afghanistan really struggled to break free of the shackles of the ruling Taliban not so long ago. It's also been hard to get any kind of acceptance internationally because of the human rights record of the country, but that's slowly changing, and 25,000 players back home will be watching on, I suspect. Rohullah Nikpai, one of 2 Afghan athletes out here in Beijing, and the incentive for each of them is 25,000 quid. That's been offered by a mobile phone company back home if either wins a medal, so not just Olympic glory, but bit of handy cash in the back pocket as well up for Rohullah Nikpai.
Particularly significant when they're only receiving what equates to about £5 a month from the Afghan Taekwondo Federation, so a big incentive.
Set you up for life, that would, wouldn't
Definitely.
it? 25,000 nicker, thank you very much, and a little bit of a gold medal as well. Actually, a medal of any description, we'll see. 21-year-old Rohullah Nikpai in the blue, up against the German Levent Tuncat. No score in the first minute and a half. Tuncat 5th at last year's World Championships here in Beijing in the flyweight category, which is the category we're watching today, and the Afghan Nikpai thought he got the first scoring point, but critically 3 out of the 4 judges didn't agree.
And although it's been a cagey start to the round, there has been some good taekwondo on show, and I think once these guys get into the latter stages of the second round and into the third round, you'll see some really explosive action, but they'd really have to go for it at this stage.
There's Tuncat, 20-year-old student. There's a real dynamism to the sport, isn't there? There's a lot of hanging around, a lot of waiting to pass the time of day, just making sure that you're in the right position to launch the attack. It looks as if you're exchanging pleasantries, and then all of a sudden you're trying to knock somebody's block off.
Your opponent. So in terms of technique, it comes down to skill, speed, fitness, all the usuals, but there's a great deal of composure involved.
Rohullah Nikpai from Afghanistan in the blue, Germany's Levent Tuncat in the red, into the second round after a scoreless opening. Tuncat, terrific fighter to watch.
Yep.
Enormously dynamic, and again the Afghan fighter claiming the points, and again the umpires not agreeing.
Tuncat's beginning to open up now. He is the 3-time European champion. Rohullah Nikpai picked up a bronze at the Asian Championships, a taekwondo specific event. 1 point each there.
Oh, they both got a score there.
And it's beginning to heat up.
And Tuncat came in with an attack that, to the naked eye, didn't look entirely legitimate, but John seemed happy enough with it.
Well, the flying side kick is one that you would see more in a demonstration sport, but the younger athletes are quite happy to go for these kind of flying tigers techniques, so it's pretty impressive.
It nearly bit something fairly tender from Rohullah's Nikpai's perspective, but fortunately it just missed. And well, what a fight this is. For my money, this is the most entertaining we've seen so far, and both of them giving it a real blast, both of them happy to open up, and both of them with a couple of points at the midway stage of the contest.
Yeah, I think that they know there's so much at stake, and they're of the opinion that if you go for it, then you get your rewards. I was talking to him in training the other day, and he knows he sacrificed a lot. Levent Tuncat just checking the leg there of Rohullah Nikpai. Not overly encouraged, but you know, sometimes unavoidable in taekwondo.
That's Rohullah Nikpai. The sport which we're talking about back home in Afghanistan enjoyed an enormous boost really when Bahav Ahmed took the silver medal at last year's World Championships here in Beijing. Just like any medalist, you encourage more and more people to take up the sport back home, and that's what's happening back in Kabul and other cities around Afghanistan. Female clubs also beginning to establish themselves. First has been formed in Kabul 6 years ago.
And you mentioned that silver medal at the World Championships. He goes, of course, in a couple of days' time, and both of them are in top shape. So much so that Rohullah Nikpai managed to back kick him in the face and knock him out during training just, 48 hours ago. So they're going for it in every sense of the word.
Well, this is a full-blooded contest, isn't it? Levent Tuncat with the latest explosive high leg kick that ended up 1,000,000 miles above Rohullah Nikpai, but again another graphic illustration of not just how tough these blokes are, but just how subtle and agile they are as well.
I think once the tension begins to wear off, the first matches are always the most cagey, they're always the most feeling it out, but you'll start to see more of these explosive techniques. A double turning kick there from Rohullah Nikpai, and a simple right leg counter to the body from Tuncat. And then you'll see some more spinning techniques from Tuncat as we go on. That's when they manage to go to 2 each. And a full-blooded attempt, as you would expect.
It's Rohullah Nikpai, 21-year-old bronze medalist at this year's Asian Championships in China, against Levent Tuncat, the German. 20-year-old student, took up the sport when he was 5. Guess which film star inspired him to take up the sport? Was it A, Tom Cruise, B, Goldie Hawn, C, Bruce Willis?
Oh, it's not Chuck Norris anyway, I know that. That was more who I based my fighting style on.
Were you more of a roundhouse fighter? Were you a bit of a thug?
I had my moments.
I can imagine that, actually. You're fairly uncompromising.
Well,
the battle for the back seat on the bus is not a pleasant it wouldn't make great television, that. Sharp elbows.
And speaking of great television, this is Taekwondo at its best. You'll probably see now in the last minute and a half here where they start to let it go. I'd look out for some spinning techniques from the German fighter.
Tuncat in the red on the right. Nikpai, the Afghan, in the blue on the left.
Good right leg counter from right leg counter from Germany.
And again, a little ripple of amusement around the crowd as both celebrate, and both rightly celebrate, because they're now locked at 3-3.
There's certain points that are a bit dubious, but certain of these points that you just know. That's another good counter there from Rohullah Nikpai. And
for the first time, Afghanistan lead Germany 4-3 into the final minute. He won't be thinking about the £25,000, that's still a long way away. But he's got 45 seconds to survive, which will seem like an age out there in the middle. But the onus is now on Levent Tuncat, the German, who came here with realistic hopes of a medal, to try and do something about it. Half a minute to go.
I think if Tuncat can maintain his composure and not start going too high too soon, he only needs a body shot. But he's his own man in his own style, and I wouldn't be surprised if he went for the head soon. Good spinning technique, good variety, but doesn't score. The referee's not doing a very good job of stopping the clock, which doesn't help.
Unless you're from Afghanistan, in which case you'll be thrilled, because the clock is ticking down. 4 seconds to go. He's got the little penalty against his name, and Tuncat needs a score now like he's never needed one, and it's not coming. And Rohullah Nikpai from Afghanistan has notched up another little victory for his sport back home. He's beaten one of Europe's leading challengers, the German Levent Tuncat, in a thoroughly entertaining contest, 4-3. Next up for him, Guillermo Perez, the conqueror of Britain's Michael Harvey.